In this movie, I'm going to show you how to use the AutoPainter apps. There is an AutoPainter HD available for iPad, and for iPhone, there is an AutoPainter 1, 2, and 3, and of course I have all of them. I love them. So I'm going to show you how they work. AutoPainter apps allow you to use classical painting styles such as Cezanne or Van Gogh, and you can create beautiful artwork out of your photographs. So let me show you how it works. I'm going to start with AutoPainter 1, and these are the different styles that you have to pick from in this particular filter. So you've got Cezanne, Benson, Aquarelle, and Van Gogh. I'm going to go out here and choose an image. So this is a crowd scene, a typical crowd scene, and I'm just going to go in here and choose my filter and then let it start to build it. It goes through a series of steps. It actually repaints the image from scratch, and it does a really nice job, but you don't always get details. So I have some other things I do to bring some of that detail back, which I'll show you in a few minutes. So it's almost done painting this, and it's kind of ethereal looking. I think it looks good. So I'm going to save it. And I'm going to move on to AutoPainter 2. This one has a filter I particularly like called Felt Pen, but there are some other ones in here as well. I'm going to choose Felt Pen, and I'm going to go out and find my image. This one works really well with architecture. It's not a good one to use on faces, but it creates long strokes very much like a marker rendering, and it's a different kind of look. You do lose a lot of detail, but again, I'll show you some tricks on how you can bring that back. So this is the felt tip filter of AutoPainter 2. It's very cool. I love it. And I'm going to save this one out and then go in and show you AutoPainter 3 next. Okay, so this one's done. I'm going to hit save. And finally, I'll go into AutoPainter 3, and here are the filters available for this one. So I'm just going to take a stab and use Van Gogh. Go out and find an image. For this one, I thought I would use some fruit. I'll hit the start button, and AutoPainter 3 will go in and start painting it with the Van Gogh filter. So one more step, the detail brush. I really like how this one is turning out, by the way. I might not do anything to this one, even though it isn't very detailed. Again, I'm going to save this one. Now, the trick that I use is to pull them into an app that has layers. There are a couple I know of offhand. There's FilterStorm, there's one called Layers. If there's any way I can do it in an Adobe app, I usually do. And this is an oldie but a goodie. This is Photoshop Touch. That happens to have layers. I happen to know this app inside and out. That's why I choose this one. So that middle button at the bottom allows me to go out and start a new project and choose a photo from my photo library. I'm going to grab the last one I did. I think that's beautiful. I'm not even sure I would do anything to it. But in the bottom right corner are my layers. So I can click the plus sign to add a new photo layer and go out and find something from my photo library. And what I might do here, I might actually go out and pull in the original image. So there it is. And I click the plus sign to accept it. Now you can't see the one underneath because it's on a layer, but I can set a blending mode here, and I might use something like lighten or multiply. That actually looks really cool, and if you want to see what it looks like without it, you can just click to turn off that top layer. I think that really looks good. So when I'm happy with it, I just hit the done button and I save it. One thing that's different about Photoshop Touch is I have to do one more step to actually get it out of Photoshop Touch and into my photo album. And as soon as it's done saving, this button on the bottom right allows me to pick one to save to my camera roll. I select the one I just did, and then I click OK, and now it's saved to my camera roll. So I could do that again if I wanted to maybe use the one that I just did in AutoPainter 2. This felt tip one that I especially like, but again, I've lost a lot of the detail. So if I bring the original back in on a layer, now this one came in a different size, and that happens sometimes depending on the original size of the image. I can drag to make this bigger, And then I can, when I go in here and play with my transparency, I can make sure that it's right on the money. It looks pretty good. And then I can go in and play with my different blending modes. For this one, I might try multiply, or I might try screen, or one of the other different ones, you know, just to see what kind of effects I get. I kind of like multiply on this one. So this is a way that I can actually blend the original image back in and get some of the detail back. So here's what it looked like before. And here I got a little more detail, and I would probably play with this a little more, maybe play with the different blending modes. But again, that's a great trick for using the AutoPainter apps and then pulling them into a layered app. In this case, I used Photoshop Touch. Any layered app would do that allows you to use blending modes. And that's it. Those are the AutoPainter tools.